So you guys, following Pearl Thusi's appearance on Thabo Bester and Dr. Nandipha's documentary, which aired on Netflix, a lot of people had quite a lot to say regarding her involvement with Thabo Bester. A lot of people on social media felt like there is definitely something that Pearl Thusi is hiding. They were saying there's absolutely no way that, you know, Thabo Bester would let her walk away scot-free just like that. So this Facebook user who goes by the name Melusi Chabalala once posted something years ago and he deleted, and this screenshot has been shared there on Twitter, you guys, and he says about a decade ago, the agency I co-signed with Koliwesi Numa, Festus Masekwana, and a man that has since passed on was commissioned to produce and launch event of the Times' latest season of popular television drama Chisa. We hired a beautiful popular actress to MC the event. However, on the evening of the event, cops arrived and took the actress away while she was engaging guests on the red carpet. It turned out she had dated Thabo Bester, and after he confessed to raping and killing the now late Nomfundo. He told the cops our MC actress knew where her body was buried, so they should ask her. Wow, very serious allegations. Now, it turned out she really knew where the body was buried and took the cops there, saying she only knew because while they were together, Bester would threaten to kill him and even took her to the burial site to make his point. The knife he used to kill Nomfundo was found in her kitchen. She never got rid of it, Omelusi Chabalala wrote, and however, he has taken away the post of his Facebook page. Now, also, the Sunday World also reported back then in 2011, they wrote this article that I'm just going to go ahead and read it. Model and TV personality Pearl Thusi took a convicted Facebook rapist and killer Thabo Bester to church and introduced him to celebrities, including actor Tumisho Masha and his pastor Kabelo Mabalane. Sunday World can today exclusively reveal that Bester's murder weapon, a sharp pocket knife, was found and retrieved from Thusi's run back home. A retired police officer who had a copy of an affidavit made by Thusi to the police showed Sunday World excerpts from it. Now, in a statement, Thusi said she met Bester in June 2011 and almost became one of his victims. The statement dated July the 3rd, 2012 reads, I drove slowly and began trying to negotiate with him. I asked him not to take my laptop because all of my daughter's photos were there. He surprisingly agreed. He promised not to hurt me and told me he had already taken my phones, a BlackBerry and an iPhone. I offered him help that would be better than stealing. I asked him why he didn't build a better future. I offered him counseling at my church. I don't remember exactly when he gave me a knife or threw it to the back of my car. Thusi further state that she and Bester met a pastor with whom she'd worked, then drove past her to come to home to collect her sister. I also collected a Bible and wrote a message in it and gave it to him. I drove to Santon at Kabelo Mabalene's house. Thabo or Thomas spoke to Tumisho Masha, whom he strangely already knew. Now, you guys, what do you guys think? Please do engage your thoughts with me in the comment section down below. Also like and of course do share this video. I will definitely be seeing you in the next one. Bye.
There's a saga, but I'm all for healthy dose of skepticism, but I think that there is a point where skepticism goes beyond skepticism for its sake, where I think sometimes it's an emotional skepticism rather than a logical skepticism, or it's based on the fact that maybe you have some perspective about a certain person and you don't particularly like who they are, and therefore, because you don't, you will be skeptical about everything they say. And I understand that is human nature. It's not a criticism. And so I've known Pearl for almost 2 decades. I've known her for a very long time. So I remember when Pearl told me this story. I think it was either in 2009 or 2010. I don't quite remember what year it was. I didn't have a car at the time, and I think it was during BBM days, and I sent a message like to a whole bunch of friends, and I said, guys, I need to go to the airport, but if no one can drop me off at the airport, it's okay. I'm going to get I'll get I'll get myself a cab. And so Pearl responded and says, my friend, it's okay. I will pick you up and I'll take you to the airport. So Pearl came, she picked me up, and I remember like there was loads of traffic, and she took me through some back route that I'd never used before to go to the airport. And while we're in the car, she was telling me this crazy story, and she drove a Mini at the time. And she said, friend, I nearly died. I was some guy had promised, like at some gig, I think a gig, and she went to pick him up that they could go to whatever meeting point they were supposed to go. But to cut a long story short, this guy started wielding a knife at her, and she was like, okay, my life is over. I'm absolutely dead right now. And she asked this, I think if I recall the story correctly, she asked him if she can pray with him and for him. And she had kind of, I think she had just regained her relationship with God, and she was really in that era. And also, guys, it is not abnormal for someone to pray when they feel that their life is in danger, when they're about to die. I mean, for me, when I was young, it's a really small thing. A guy put a knife to my throat. I couldn't pray. I was 12, but all I could say, oh, yini nkosi yami, oh, yini nkosi yami. And I have an uncle who was during the 90s or 80s, he was trying to stop violence. He's a priest. He's trying to stop the violence that was happening in the hostels, and he'd go to the hostels. And at some point, one time, these guys grabbed him and wanted to kill him. And he basically said, okay, guys, before you kill me, can you just let me pray first? And he prayed and he prayed and he prayed. And he doesn't know what he said to this day when you ask him. He has no idea what he said in his prayer, but he knows that by the time he opened his eyes, there was not a dry eye left. So I think you can be skeptical all you want, and I said that skepticism is healthy, a healthy dose of it. But there is a time where skepticism can be unhealthy. And the point is to recognize when you have jumped to a point of unhealthy skepticism. So I know this story because Pearl told me this story more than 15 years ago. Or 15 or 14 years ago. I don't know how long it was. But we didn't know who he was at the time. We had never heard his name. So when he eventually got arrested for the murder as the Facebook rapist, that's when we knew who he was, because Pearl was like, oh my God. Years later, she was like, you remember that guy I told you about? That's the guy. That's the guy. So I understand, people have certain feelings about Pearl, but she told me this story years ago.